What's up, Screen Crusaders? This is your host, Tex-Mex Morty over here, and we are going to be having quite an episode today. So we finally reached the halfway point on the Last of Us show. So that's going to probably be the biggest topic we're going to be having going on for this evening. Granted, there are some other things we're going to cover beforehand, but that is the nitty-gritty of this episode, the thing that made the title of the episode. So let me go ahead and just bring everyone in real quick. Oops, wrong button. All right, so how you guys doing today? We have, let's see who we got in today. We have, of course, Johnny Joestar joining us for the evening. How you been doing, man?
Pretty good. Excited to be here again, even though I might be oblivious, but I'm always down to talk about whatever, you know.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, I will probably be trying to keep up as much as we could have in here.
It's fine.
Spoiler free, but then I'll let you know when it is, for if you want to bounce out before we get into the finer details. But you could be here for the first few couple of topics. Speaking of topics, while we introduce our other guest, Miss Cap, let me go ahead and bring up the bulletin board for the Screen Crusaders this week. How you doing, Miss Cap?
I'm doing all right. Had a busy day today, but you know what? We're winding down with this, so it's gonna be good.
All right, glad this is your evening wind down. Good way to start the week, I would say, honestly. And of course, we also have JT coming back. JT, how you doing, brother?
Actually, I'm feeling pretty good. This weekend was off the chart. Me and Miss Cap, we kind of just hanged out and chill. We went to a like an anime semi con where we have a lot of local artists and they displayed all their artwork. So we kind of did that and hanged out with
local artist stuff. It was fun.
Local artists. It was really cool, and I'm ready to talk about everything that happened. So can't wait.
Oh yeah. So we will have Mr. Oyman coming in. He is having a busy evening, but just like last week, he will try his best to make it in. He said he should hopefully only be a little late, not too late, but we'll hope he can make it sometime down this episode. But we'll start off with just the news for the week. Out this week, we have a couple of things like on as far as like TV shows and games, not so much anything premiering per se, except I will say, well, that was last week, but
that's true.
That did come out this past Friday officially. Even if you didn't have like the digital deluxe version or whatever, you can now get your hands on that, and it seems to be doing really, really well. Like people who are playing it are saying it just making them feel like kids again. It's
makes me nauseous.
But I will say the PC people, you guys are getting Returnal as of the 15th of this month. So I think that's Wednesday. So I personally, that was one of my personal favorite games of 2021. So if you have a PC that's capable of running it, I would recommend it. I mean, it's not for everybody because it is a roguelike. So even if you're like on the last level, if you die, you're going straight back to the beginning of the game. Granted,
Oh.
there are some stuff that carries over with you. Like if you do beat some of the bosses, because there's a total of 6 levels. If you do beat the boss in the level, you could take what's called like a shortcut and find your way to the next biome. Granted, you'll still have to do the biome over to get to this, like, let's say, second boss where you died at, and the upgrade you got from the first boss you keep, but you do start from square one basically, and you had to work your way back up. I know you've played it before, JT. How far have you gotten so far in that?
I am so horrible. I keep dying in the first biome because I remember when I was playing with you, Texas Morty. I went into the first boss. There was no problem, but
Yeah.
every time I get the game, I keep dying and
Aw,
dying.
man.
So I haven't ever played it in a while. I'm like, nah.
Oh man, I might have to join you on it sometime because they do have co-op now. But I mean, come on, JT. When you were at my house playing it, on the first day it like came out, what's it called? You were doing better than I was, so I had more faith that you would do better than me.
Is it like Hades?
Kind of, yeah. It's very similar, like roguelike, which is what Hades is, but it's like a 3D platformer.
Yeah.
And it has very like alien xenomorph type vibes to it, and a really
okay.
badass soundtrack. It's really cool.
What is it called?
Returnal.
Returnal.
It's made by Housemarque.
Okay, Returnal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a PlayStation exclusive or?
Yes. It was a PlayStation 5 exclusive until it's on PC now.
Oh God.
But
Can't
yeah.
try anything out, man. I'm
Hey,
out of the game.
Mr. Joestar, if you want to see some gameplay of it, we actually do have some on the channel because I was streaming it a couple late 2021, I believe, or halfway through 2021. So you could probably see some of that on there because those episodes should still be up. But in other news, movies at the theater are getting some. Two of the big highlights this week coming out is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which
Yes.
I'm kind of stoked about. Honestly, though, I was talking to Mr. Oyman, and it just, I don't know if they're somehow advertising it a decent amount, but yet somehow it doesn't feel like your typical Marvel movie that's coming out. Like usually, they're gonna come out like this week. It almost slipped my mind until I checked my calendar, and I'm like, oh crap. It's
me too.
It's this Thursday, so I'm glad I checked my calendar, or I probably would have missed it. So I don't know what the deal behind that is, but they need to ramp up a little bit their advertising. And of course, there's the start of another cinematic universe that they're trying to do. It's that R-rated Pooh Bear. I think it's called like Blood and Honey, or maybe I'm just thinking of the
Winnie the
Revolver
Pooh,
drink.
Blood and Honey.
It's real? I thought that was just like
No.
fan art. Oh my God.
No. I know Mr. Oyman said he's gonna go check that out. He somehow got a hold of some like a ticket for free or something like that. So he's gonna go check that out. Let us know how that is probably next week. And I'll let you guys know how Ant-Man is to our audience. I'm hoping most of us are. Are y'all gonna be doing Ant-Man this weekend?
Yes. Me and Miss Cap, we are going to watch
we
it
are.
Friday night.
Friday. Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully you get some time, Mr. Joestar, because I do want basically all of us to watch it this weekend, so we could bring back next episode. It won't be Screen Crusader podcast. It's going to be an episode of Marvel Mondays making its comeback, since we do have a big release of a Marvel project. And that rated R Pooh Bear will get a little time to shine, and we'll see if it's just worth even for like watching it because it's so bad it's funny. But I do know that the creator of that also has like the rights, or he's making a Bambi movie, and I forgot what other movie that he's turning into some sort of demented R-rated blood gory movie that he wants to make a cinematic universe where like Eeyore fights Bambi or some BS like that.
Jesus.
I don't know what's
I don't
going on.
think so.
Oh,
Hey,
fuck,
honestly, if they could pull it off and make it entertaining, I'm all for it. I get not every movie's gonna be like damn Citizen Kane or Schindler's List, but I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes a couple drinks and a weird movie like that it's all you need for a fun evening, you know. Oh, and
Yeah.
Not for me.
and Mr. Oyman made it in. How you doing, Mr. Oyman?
I'm good. What weird movie y'all talking about?
I was mentioning that besides the Ant-Man 3, the biggest competition to it this week is probably that R-rated Pooh movie that you're so excited to go see.
2 days. 2 days.
Sponsored by
Tickets.
Revolver Blood and Honey.
Oh god.
Gotta have
You
one.
serious?
No,
I
it's
had
not.
two
It
of
just
them
has the same
last
title. It has the same
I
title.
was just like, no way. I was like, that's my favorite beer. What the fuck? How do I not know about this?
Oh man, it's all over the bottles, you know. But anyways,
yeah.
so you said you're gonna be checking that out, Mr. Oyman.
Yeah, I didn't have to pay money for it, so if it sucks, I at least didn't waste any money. But I'm seeing that in 2 days. I might come dressed as Tigger just for the heck of it.
The bigger question is not how you got the tickets in that sentence. It's how the hell do you have a Tigger costume just laying around ready for the occasion?
I've had a Tigger costume since I was a kid.
Oh
I don't know
no,
if I'll fit in it
jeez.
anymore.
Oh man, it's gonna be like frog eyes and shit
Yeah.
sticking out of there. They're gonna kick you out, man. Jesus. All right, but in
I'll come on a pogo stick.
oh no, man. But other than the Pooh Bear, are you gonna you're gonna be watching Ant-Man, of course, right, Mr. Orman? Like
Ant-Man.
this weekend?
Ant-Man. Yeah, I'm taking half a day of work so I can go see it.
Oh man,
Damn.
Be nice to take a half day.
yeah,
Right?
no kidding. I'm basically gonna get out of the theater and go straight, or out of work and go straight to the theater and barely make it. But man, I love the dedication to the MCU you have, man.
Yeah, I might. Well, I'll see if Winnie the Pooh is good enough. I might do a double feature and watch it again right after Ant-Man.
Jeez, you couldn't pay me enough. Man.
All right.
Or I'll go see Magic Mike 3.
Oh
God.
jeez. Hey, for some reason that thing only made like
Soderbergh never misses.
It made only like what 8 million at the box office, and yet somehow was #1 this week. I guess that's calm before the storm, but I guarantee you it's not making #1 next week for sure.
Again.
Okay, I was part of that one crew where the top 3 was like Titanic 25 years later.
Yeah.
I totally saw
Titanic
it on
and
Friday.
Avatar.
Like,
And then in a few days,
Oh, that's
it'll be Avatar will make more money than Titanic as the all-time box office.
most
so.
likely, yeah. But I mean,
It's like
both James Cameron movies, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Three of the top 3 movies will be, or 2 of the top 3 movies will be James Cameron. That's crazy.
All right. So we're moving on to the next news topic. It is Super Bowl movie trailer time. Man, we got
Oh,
yeah, we got quite a bit of trailers. I picked about like 5 or so, the biggest ones. And we're gonna go ahead and discuss those in just a second. All right. So let me bring up the first one. Let's see what we got here. Let's take down the bulletin board and go ahead. Hopefully we don't get any copyright strikes like last time, where they're threatening that to take down the stream. But the first one I got going on playing right now is of course we'll start off with something pretty good. We have the Flash.
What is it?
Finally, the Flash.
Flash.
We finally
The
got
Flash.
an actual look at it. That's because Mr. Orman pointed out to me earlier, a couple days ago, that we did get a teaser trailer, but it was so brief and really nothing was shown in it to the point where it just slipped my mind that we
Yeah.
even had one. So we have one our first one that actually has some substance to it. Let's go ahead and
I
get
feel like they
y'all's
showed a lot,
initial.
too.
Yeah, a little bit more than I was hoping they would. But I guess
Yeah.
they're just trying to get this out there and create as much hype as they
Yep.
can, because there is a lot of like. Well, while it did do a good impressions like on social media and such, a lot of people are still kind of bummed out that this eventually kind of is leading to nowhere. So I guess that's why
Yeah.
they showed as much as they did, to try to show like the coolest shots and basically let you know what you're in for, so that you could go watch it. But how do you guys feel about it? We'll start with you, Miss Cap. I think you were the one who first kind of mentioned in our group chat about your initial thoughts. How it being about 24 hours since then, how do you feel now?
I'm actually now a lot more hyped about it. Despite it being Ezra Miller, like it looks like it's gonna be a fantastic movie,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and like I can't deny that. Like it's going to be pretty fantastic. Yeah, it might disappoint us after it's done because it's not going to lead to anything, or like what it originally intended it for is not where it's going to go with. But honestly, it looks pretty awesome. It looks to the point of what Flashpoint is going like.
Mhm.
Flashpoint timeline, and like I honestly cannot wait freaking to see Michael Keaton, like
Oh
Michael
yeah,
Keaton.
that was
No, I said it right. Like I really cannot wait for this. Honestly, it looks awesome. Plus, it comes out in my birthday month, so I'm gonna be happy.
awesome.
All right,
Respect.
I'm glad that we got someone looking forward to it. Let's see if the rest of the panel also feels the same way. How about you, JT? What are your thoughts on this?
I feel like I'm with Miss Cap. I feel like this Flash is going to be a surprise hit of the summer just because Michael Keaton's back, and we also get a chance to see Supergirl. You know,
Yep.
Kara, on the big screen, and we see General Zod and, like a world without Superman because Flash just, messed up the paradox and, timeline. So it's going to be interesting how this all plays out at the end. But hey, I feel like I know this is a reboot, of the universe, and I feel like it's a perfect trailer, right? Because we don't see like all the details per se, but we get to see like some of the major players like Ben Affleck's Batman and Michael Keaton and Reverse Flash and Flash, and maybe we have some surprises here and there we don't know about. But I'm looking forward to it, and I can't, like Miss Cap, we're going to watch with her, and we're going to see it on the big screen possible, please, in IMAX, because I think that this is meant for the biggest screen possible, and we'll see how it goes.
I do hope you're
Yep.
right in that the sense that we have bigger surprises in store, because like Mr. Orman mentioned earlier, and I agree, they did show a lot. So I hope that they didn't show just like everything they got.
Nah.
But what's it called? What about you, Mr. Joestar? What in this trailer, if you watched it, what caught your eye the most?
Well, kind of like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like everybody else, just Michael Keaton actually reprising the role of like Batman. Yeah, like was one of the coolest things because, I mean, it's literally just like a fan thing. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody enjoyed that from the first Michael Keaton Batman movies, and
Dream.
like, yeah, like it's literally just hitting our hearts like deeply because we finally get to see what we really wanted. And like I told you guys, you see that? I told you. Like I was pretty sure they would basically recreate like the Flashpoint, and like, and I'm so happy that they did because they're gonna reboot like everything else, which could lead to some really cool stuff. And like now that we actually have like what's it called, a Supergirl, like hopefully if she is even capable of being saved into this universe, maybe she can, come back later on as the new Supergirl for like later on projects.
Mm.
And that's the coolest thing is the fact that they're actually introducing more things into this, and I really do hope they do it justice because as we all know, like we're a little picky with Flashpoint, especially like me and Cap, like and
Yep.
JT, like we are
I
all about.
love Flashpoint.
Yes, like we're all about that original story, and yeah, it's we understand that it's going to be a little Hollywoodish. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be tweaked, so it's going to be way different. But hopefully they do justice, and it actually has a fluent like transition into the new movies coming out. So
Yeah.
I really do hope that a lot of like questions are answered with this because like if they're gonna just do a reboot all the way through, then I mean if they keep even Michael Keaton for future projects, I mean I don't know, like it would be even more fantastic because like I mean we still have like the Brave and the Bold, like to look forward to, and like the new Superman legacies and stuff like that. So definitely hoping that some of these questions are answered. Especially when this movie gets put up. But yeah,
But
can't wait. Can't freaking wait.
well, you mentioned them changing some stuff that they obviously are, because instead of like the Themyscira
Yeah.
and Atlantis war, we're probably just gonna get Zod fighting again. But a big change is you mentioned Supergirl instead of being Superman, because in that storyline you have the like anorexic, malnourished Superman, which they seem to be replacing with Supergirl. Do you think that's going to be a pretty good change? I know you said you're pretty stoked, but do you think you're okay with that, or is there a part of you that kind of wishes that it was still like
No,
a tiny
not at all.
Henry
Because
Cavill?
because you have to imagine it. Like, remember how I've always said it. Like, I don't necessarily like really justify like the loopholes, but the thing is that it's not going to be like the first Flashpoint because technically, like, we already had a Flashpoint. You just don't realize it. If you were to connect the dots from like even just the animated movies, like you can actually see that we already had that flashpoint where Atlantis and like the mascara, like all that already technically in my mind has already happened, but in a different world. So they could still do this because it's technically not the same universe that this is going on because Michael Keaton didn't exist in that universe. So to me, I'm just basically just making it to where okay, this Flash's Flashpoint because they all wanted technically the same thing, and I still like the actor that was in the CW
Grant
what's it
Gustin.
called? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Greg
like
Gustin.
yeah, so like I mean I still enjoyed that story, and to be quite honest, like that's a separate universe where he had a Flashpoint as well because it's still a timeline. It's just different multiverses. So that's the thing is it's like I'm not really like focusing on like oh well this one they had a like a Supergirl instead of a Superman. That's fine because guess what? It's a different universe. It's not the same timeline. So I'm not putting them together, which is the same reason why I like in the Flashpoint of the one from the CW they had
Dream got taken
Batgirl.
down.
Yeah, like they got a Batgirl and they had like Superman, but then he was switched up with like Lex Luthor. And so
I remember
yeah,
that.
like it's not the same. It's not the same stuff. So like I'm not like gonna sit here and be like, oh well, they took Superman out. Huh?
Stream got taken down.
Oh shit.
Oh no! Damn it, puta! Yeah,
Shouldn't have shown the trailer.
yeah. Just show
It's like, oh,
screenshots.
we
Don't
pushed
Screenshots.
it.
show trailers. Don't show trailers. Just talk about
Screenshots
them.
only. You know.
I would rather just like say like just like put the link in it. Like, just put the link for the trailers down. Be like, if you guys want to check it out on the link or something, just so that we don't get in trouble.
Screenshots without getting taken down. Which there's not. Internet laws are weird.
Yeah. Okay, so what about you, Mr. Oyman? Are you excited for the Flash? Oh,
Hold on. We're not ready yet.
I'm trying to get into it, Josh.
But I do appreciate your. What the hell? What's going on?
All right, it looks like we are back potentially.
Are we?
I can see.
are we?
I
We
would
are.
believe so. All right, cool. So, note for future, note for future thing. I'll just go ahead and just start off the trailer and just pause it at a moment because fuck YouTube. They are just. Yeah, it's like, bro.
You hear that, YouTube? Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, YouTube was like, shut it down. They were just being kind of dickbags. I mean, I don't know why you would. We ain't even making money off of this, bro. So what's up with you, YouTube? But anyways, back to what we were saying. Nah, man. I personally am 100% disappointed that we're getting Supergirl instead of Superman. Because, man, do you guys remember when Henry Cavill got that mustache CGI removed? I wanted to see
Yes.
their take
Yeah.
on reverse Captain America. Like, remember in the first adventure where there was Steve Rogers and they, like, made small guy big? I wanted to see big Jack dude turn small. He would be Henry Cavill in a tiny body, but with like the most chiseled jawline you have ever seen in your life.
But you already saw it though.
No, I haven't seen
Steve
that.
Rogers.
Yeah, but not with Henry Cavill.
With Chris Evans.
No,
that's different.
No. Yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, it already happened. There's a different universe where there was that Superman. And you already saw it.
But I mean, it's
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Henry Cavill.
it's still
no,
an
I know.
No, but
Henry Cavill.
that would be cool.
You're using
Don't
your
get me
mental
wrong.
gymnastics on that one. Because
Like-
this is still an adaptation, so it would have still fit the bill. But I'm just saying, like, the way they handled the CGI mustache removal for Henry Cavill, I would have totally loved to see them remove his muscles and stuff like that, and just see how Warner Brothers tackles that aspect. I bet it would just been the weirdest shit you've ever seen. But
dude, you know what I would have really wanted to see? Like, I mean, if you guys followed the whole like Flashpoint all the way to the end to like Apocalypse War, like where Superman like was technically human, I guess, because he didn't have his abilities because he had that kryptonite in his veins and shit.
Yeah.
And like seeing like Henry Cavill like that, like where like basically he has like the Superman embedded on his chest, but it's all kryptonite and he's all veiny and like. You know, he has like the full beard and he's aged because like I mean like he just can't hold up anymore. Like seeing that whole like ending, like if it ever did lead to that, like I think it would be like the greatest thing of all time. But I will say I'm still hopeful for this movie. Like I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah. No, I was definitely impressed with it. What they showed. Yeah, I know you mentioned that they showed a bit too much, Mr. Oyman. You got any other thoughts on this? Good, bad, anything in between that you got out of this movie? Like, has it changed your perspective on how you're looking forward to it, or is it just about the same?
Well, first off, I was not expecting Michael Shannon Zod. That is something they should have saved for the movie, in my opinion. Didn't know about that, but it was really weird seeing. Visually, the movie looks like a Zack Snyder movie. Like, it's kind of weird how we're trying to I mean, on one hand, Warner Brothers is trying to bury the hatchet with the Snyderverse and move on, but this movie is extremely, very much a Snyderverse movie. I mean, down to even Supergirl's costume being very similar to Superman's costume, and and literally having the Man of Steel stuff in there. Um, I'm excited for Michael Keaton. He's still my favorite Batman. He always will be. That was my introduction to Batman, was his movie. So I'm excited to see him come back. I think I don't really know how this movie is going to. I mean, the Justice League movie did not do well with audiences, and it underperformed. And that was before we knew that the DC universe was being rebooted. Now that we know it is being rebooted, I mean, I guess they'll try to use this movie as a launch point for, like kind of closing the chapter on the Snyder stuff and opening it up for a whole bunch of other stuff. But they're still talking about maybe keeping Ezra Miller, because supposedly he does a really good job in this movie, and they want us to keep him around, which doesn't really make much sense to me. If you're going to cancel freaking Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock, but you'll keep Ezra Miller. It's like, okay, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Keep the psycho, as long as he's non-binary, we can keep him.
Yeah. Oh god.
I also wonder if they had multiple Barrys throughout the whole movie, so that way they could refer to Ezra as they them on set as well as Barry. They didn't do that. It just made me kind of think that. I mean, it's probably unrelated, but
probably unrelated, yeah.
They'll probably be referring to Barry as they them throughout the movie, which will be kind of funny in my opinion.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, Ezra Miller's a good actor. I think it'll be a good movie. It's supposedly the best DC movie that they've made in a long time. Well, I guess we'll just have to see in June. I mean, they shelved Batgirl at this. So.
The Dark Knight trilogy did end over a decade ago, so I mean that bar is not necessarily what I would say real high.
The trailer was kind of all over the place. I'll say it does give you the gist of what the movie's about and everything, but just tonally it seems to be I can't tell if it's going to be a lighter tone DC movie or if it's going to be very heavy and dramatic. But Andy Muschietti is a good director, so I think he'll balance it all quite well.
Hold on, I'm doing the whole screenshot and flipping the image and fucking muting everything.
Do it upside down.
Yeah,
turn it in black and white.
That's what I'm about to do, man. I'm about to morph it to where
potato can.
Yeah, but no, I was trying it with the next trailer that we had, which was the our good old friend Indiana Jones. What the hell are you doing? No, don't play enough of it. Yeah, so no, I'm talking to the stream. So this one, not too much. I mean, we'd see more on the screen right there. We see more of what's it called? Oh, there you go. Upside down. There you go. They definitely can't get us for that. But but we did get more normal or more shots of DH stuff. Nothing too crazy. It was only a 30-second spot. But overall, are y'all still?
We saw him fall out of a plane.
Yeah, are y'all still feeling this movie, or what's y'all's opinion going in? Because we are getting closer and closer to the launch date, and for some reason,
I want to see it.
Yeah, for some reason, I mean, I like the director. I like Indiana Jones, but for some reason, this one just keeps going on the back burner for me. I keep forgetting that this is a thing. I don't know why. When is this supposed to come out, Mr. Oyman?
June 30th, baby.
Oh, okay. So they still got some time.
June is just packed. It's got Spider-Man, Transformers, Flash, and Indy, and all sorts of other things. It's
birthday month is going to be packed.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
You're going to be eating good that month.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. You're going to be eating good that month. You're going to have parties and movies and all sorts of good stuff, man. All right.
Summertime.
So, anybody got any thoughts on this indie movie before we move on to the next 30-second trailer that was kind of
I know
released?
everyone.
As long as it's better than Crystal Skull, I am all for it.
Oh,
that's the thing. Everyone hates
Crystal Skull sucks.
It's not a good movie, but I still enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it was fun.
Dumb fun.
Yeah.
I thought
agree.
It's not as good as the originals. but it's fun.
I never really hated, but I thought it gives me like Fever Dream vibes. Like there's some stuff in there that happened where I was like, was that in an actual movie or was that just
was Shia swinging with monkeys?
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
or did I like
You guys
remember
think-
that wrong?
Get in a refrigerator?
Do you guys think he's gonna come back?
No, absolutely not.
For sure.
No, I think it's the last. Yeah.
Although, I mean, I don't know. If they can keep Ezra Miller, then, they could probably try it.
As long as Harrison Ford wants to continue making these movies, then sure. But I don't think.
I think he's done.
I think he's good.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
He's no longer doing it.
So the next movie we got on the thing, let me go ahead and flip it horizontally. Let's go ahead and flip it vertical too. All sorts of wonky. Let's upside down. We got to bypass them somehow, Look at that. It's coming at you. I mean, it seems to work because I'm not getting any warnings or anything.
Just pause the screen. Don't.
Oh no. Yeah, no. It is paused. But
Okay.
we're pausing it, flipping it upside down, flipping it mirror.
I don't understand how. Like, I watch YouTube shows all the time where they talk about trailers and they show little snippets of it.
Well, I guess you got to bring down the little guys, according to YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ain't making them big money, then I guess they're gonna be like, well, fuck you.
Screw us.
Fuck you up the poop chute. Fuck you up the poop
But
chute.
so we have the Transformers, and this trailer was basically dedicated to
The last one.
Yeah, well, to Mirage, right? I think.
Pete Davidson bot.
Yeah. So we got because they did it as a what's it called? Man, this thing upside down is like a whole different movie. I guess maybe that's the best way to watch this. But oh, geez, pause on the screen. But yeah, no. So it's they did it as I wonder who footed the bill for this because it was like a commercial for Porsche, but at the same time a commercial for Rise of the Beast. But
Was he a Porsche?
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
let me make it to the end where they do it. They changed the logo to say like Transformers and then do like a Porsche symbol instead of the Autobot symbol. But and there you go, only in theaters June 9th. Man, you really are getting a bunch of movies in June. But how are you guys feeling about this one being one of the two car movies that we'll talk about in this segment? Are you guys still Are you guys still feeling Transformers, or are you guys like just let it go?
I don't
already?
even.
I'm
is
excited.
But like, is it even in a part of like the Transformers universe, or is it completely separate from like the past movies?
I'm hoping it's more in. I'm hoping.
I'm not talking
yeah.
about the original trilogy from Michael Bay. I'm talking about
No.
the other two.
Bumblebee 2.
Okay, so it's
it's
part of the
the
Bumblebee
Bumblebee.
ones,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
kind of like still
Which
part
was
of the
good.
regular ones, but yeah, no, I agree. If it's part of the Bumblebee ones, then that should be fun.
Okay
That would
with
make
it.
me more hyped.
Okay.
I mean, you
Same
do got
here.
like the gorilla one, and
It is
It's
weird
just-
how the effects look way cheaper than the Bay movies, but if it's got better writing, then that's fine.
I'll
Oh,
take
yes.
that. I'll take that.
Oh
man.
yeah.
After
We'll take better writing.
because the last night,
explosions any
man,
day.
the last night might have looked good because it was the Bay one, but
No, that
Jesus,
one
Jesus
looked garbage.
Christ. it was
And was garbage.
it was terrible.
I was like, wow.
No, gave me more diarrhea than damn Chipotle, man. But
I had Chipotle today. It gave me diarrhea twice, so there you go, Puto.
oh man, I'm finally not alone. All right, so the next trailer that we got going on is the Housefly That Won't Die, and it's our
Yeah,
second
that's
car
nice.
movie.
House
Going
fly
on.
that won't die.
Yeah, somebody taking a piss?
That'd be me.
Ah, mute your mic. That's for you, Mr. Oyman. That's for you.
All right. There we go.
All right, so the
Sorry.
housefly
I've
that
been
won't
driving all day.
the housefly that won't die, Fast X. We got a trailer on Friday, I believe it was. Because I guess they didn't want to spend like Guardians money and release a trailer at the Super Bowl, but
But they did.
no, they had a 30-second one, like the really short ones.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got ahead of it. Granted, the 30-second one was pretty much like a small version of the what's it called,
Trailer.
the longer trailer, and oh geez, anyone looking forward to this one?
No.
I'm looking forward to skipping it.
Oh yeah.
Like I did the last 4.
Hey, I saw the last
I
one.
haven't even seen it like 8 or 9, so like, there's
There
no.
you go.
Well, here
What?
I saw the 9th one, and geez, it was just not good. That one, talk about a fever dream. That one just, apparently it's only like 2.5 hours long, but honestly for me it did feel like it was fucking like 4 hours long. And
Yeah.
on top of that, this one just looks like they're just not, they're going the same thing. I mean, Jason Momoa's character, golly, that is some of the most atrocious like bad guy acting I've seen in a long time. It's like a straight to DVD movie, and of course he's probably gonna be like the long lost relative of X character, and this and that. I feel like they claim, what the I know they claim that this is like the last one before the last one.
No.
But
the last, yeah.
but
An ultimate.
but then, well, yeah, but the next one is supposed to be the last one. But I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah.
Watch the last one be called like Fast Forever.
Fast Forever. Jeez.
The Fast. They've been doing that. They've been doing that a lot.
No, I told Mr. Oyman,
like Jackass. Like
they just need to do like the Fast Point paradox at this point, and they need to get they need to get all their IP, like the freaking Iron Giant, the Back to the Future, and have like Dom ride like through the back of a T-Rex from Jurassic World on a DeLorean, and he travels back in time and like explodes onto a dragon from Game of Thrones or something. That's so I just feel
in there too.
Yeah, throw the minions in there.
All in the name of family.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
they say family like 5 or 6 times in the trailer. I watched the trailer with my dad.
I mean,
and he was like, "Wow, they're just really putting all the only parts worth watching in this movie in this whole trailer. Now you don't even have to watch the movie."
I mean, if you're just gonna go this ridiculous, might as well just do it. Might as well just go all out and just you're Universal. Just freaking throw in Dracula and Frankenstein in there while you're at it. Just do whatever to get a quick buck, because that's what these movies obviously are. They have no like substance. I want to say no heart.
I mean, no,
they're about family.
They're about family, but they got no heart. I mean, hell, the
first few was good. Like, it made sense. There was a plot.
Well,
after
you're talking like way back then.
It got ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
well,
but
yes, it's like when they first started, it was like, this is pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, but then those were also still about like street races and maybe a couple heists.
Yeah,
they weren't about like super
simple.
soldiers and the government and like flying in a car to the moon or some bullshit like that.
I think Tokyo Drift was my last one, but then I wasn't forced. I wasn't forced to watch, like, I forgot which one it was. I think it was the one with what's his face? John Cena.
Oh, that's the last one. That's the one right before this one.
Yeah. So, but that was because it was that's because it was on HBO, you know.
Yeah.
And like my dad's like, I've never seen that one. I was like, yeah, it's like the 9th freaking movie, and he's like, put it on, and I was like, oh god. And I was like, okay, well, fine, we'll watch it.
Well,
I watched 4, having not seen any of them, because my friends were like, oh, Fast and Furious, come with us. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then I saw the 5th one on a date, and I actually kind of liked the 5th one. It was okay. And then the sixth one, and another friend of mine took me to see the sixth one, and I'm just like, yeah, these aren't for me. They're just, I'm done. And yeah, I haven't seen any since then.
I
Yeah.
went all the way up to 7, and after that I quit.
The
The Paul
seven.
Walker was just not
The seven.
You made it farther than I did.
Paul Walker.
Because after Tokyo Drift, I'm like, I think I saw
Yeah.
5. I think I saw 5.
You saw
potentially.
5 because you told me about it.
Yeah, I think I saw that with my cousin. And then after that, I
That one
didn't
was
watch
okay.
any of the spin-offs. I didn't watch any of the sequels up until 9, where I'm like,
Yeah.
let's just see where they're at right now. And I was just,
Yeah.
You
like,
watch all of 9?
Yeah.
yeah, I made it through. A couple drinks in, but I made it through, and
Yeah.
it was long as hell.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have no faith in this one, honestly. The writer's already making excuses onto why it's gonna suck ass, because he's like, I had to rewrite like the complete third act and most of the movie over one night because
One
they
day.
yeah,
Oh,
overnight.
God.
They're like, because we had to get
I
it
looked.
from paper to film within 4 days. So I'm like, Jesus Christ,
Wow.
you're already at
You don't want to. Yeah.
you admit to that type of stuff after it's come out. You don't do it.
They know,
You don't
they
want.
know
You don't
the
want to
fans
talk
don't
about that.
care. They're gonna
Yeah.
make money anyway.
Jeez,
Yeah.
so
That's
we
bad.
spent too much.
That's bad publicity.
Yeah.
That's super big bad
So-
publicity. Like you never want to talk about the shit that you're going in, especially if it's going bad. Like you do not talk about that before a big project, because
Yeah.
then that's where morale goes down, and you're like, no, this is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? Like if you say, well, no, we're going to take a different approach. We're going to definitely do something better so that we can keep our audience captivated. You know, using those words, you're like, oh, okay, well then we'll see what they do. You know, we'll see. But when you just straight up say like, yeah, I just gave it like a hoo-ha and I did it in one fucking night, fuck it. Like, you're just kind of like, no.
We
like,
didn't even
that-
try.
yeah, like, what the hell? Like,
Mhm.
well, then I'm not going to watch that in the theater. Like, why the fuck would I do that? Go straight to DVD, baby. VHS. Let's
I
go.
guess at this point they're like,
Yes.
you've had like 10 or not even 10, because there's been spin-offs. You had like 11 or 12.
11.
Well, Tokyo Drift is in the main. It's not part of the numerical ones.
Technically, it's not part
So
of
you
it.
you
yeah.
you had Tokyo
Right.
Drift and Shaw. So you got like 12 movies in. I guess they're like, well, you're on the 12th movie. You know what
Tokyo
you're
Drift,
getting.
That's 11.
Well, but then there's that Hobbs and Shaw. That's part of this universe because it has some of the
That makes it
characters.
11.
Yeah, so it's so
It's 11. So the 11th fast one will
Tokyo
be the
Drift
12th
is still
movie.
considered a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 So
no,
it's-
Yeah, because they
that'll
came out
be
in the
7.
ninth one. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the 10th one. There's been 2 spin-offs outside of the 10 that we already are
No.
getting.
Just
There's
one
only
spin-off.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hop and Shaw
Hobbs and
was the
Shaw's
only
the only
one, so
spin-off.
it's
No,
11.
No,
Tokyo
'cause-
Drift is the third one.
No, because there's
What's
Fast
the
and
third one?
there's Fast and Furious 3, and then there's the Fast and
There's not.
Furious.
No,
There's-
no.
Tokyo Drift is 3, puta.
All
You
of them.
should-
I could literally name them. I can go into my living room right now.
I haven't even seen them, and I know this.
Yeah.
I
Tokyo
could've-
Drift
Tokyo
is
Drift,
the
and
second
it's
one.
Fast and Furious.
Period.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. See, they're all over the
11
place.
movies
then.
total.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So how come? So how come
I
that
am
didn't?
looking-
That one? How come that one didn't have a numerical title to it? That makes no sense.
Furious, like,
the
after
fourth
the
one
fourth
didn't
one.
either.
Well, the first
Yeah.
one got the
One didn't
rebranding of
None
the
of
Fast
they
and
do.
Furious, like kind of like
None
James
of them
Gunn
have
did with
numbers.
the Suicide Squad. No, yeah, because there's the Fast Five, which you know that
After-
would be
At
5.
5, then they started doing it.
Furious
but, like,
6.
before that,
Fast
there was, it was all
Yeah, before
the
that-
Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast Tokyo Drift.
and
Like,
then
it
Fast
was,
and Furious.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're
'Cause that was the first one I saw. I had no idea. When I saw Fast and Furious, I was like, oh, there's no number in this title, so I can probably watch this without having seen the others. And
Nope.
ooh, that was a mistake.
well. It was weird because it was like a prequel, wasn't it? At the same time, it was like a sequel prequel type of deal.
No fucking idea.
Oh,
No
Oh.
idea what was going on.
that-
I will say I am looking forward to Fast X coming out. I'm definitely looking forward to it
Bullshit.
because I will definitely be watching people talk about the movie and
Bullshit.
shitting on it, like videos on YouTube. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
All right. So we wasted enough time on that.
Bullshit.
So let's go ahead and
Yeah.
move to the last one, which is Guardians 3. We did get
Yes.
a very
Okay.
extensive look on that. Granted, I feel like they showed basically similar to what they showed in the previous trailer, just maybe a little bit more extended looks on that. A very
Slightly different tone too. It's
Yeah.
more silly than
yeah. This did have a little bit more, but like towards the end of this trailer, it started getting really like bleak for our heroes. And I don't know, man. So how do you guys feel? You guys think you're ready for this movie, or?
No, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
have
too.
a feeling. I have a
No.
feeling
I'm gonna
that.
cry.
But outside of like just the overall feel, visually, what did you guys think of this? Because we do get to see a
It's-
lot more visuals than we did last time. Definitely more colors. We got a little bit more of a look at Adam Warlock. So
Yeah. Looks like a baby.
Yeah.
but we still haven't heard him say anything, which I'm kind of surprised how they haven't spent any time on Adam in these trailers really.
Well,
Like they showed he's there, but he hasn't like had any focus or anything.
that could be either good
So
or bad, but at the same time, I would like it to maybe stay that way. Because unlike the Flash trailer, where we aren't getting a crap ton of information out of it, we're just getting like this is the overall thing. We're gonna rehash the scenes and maybe give you a second or two of each scene that you've already seen. But did this second trailer kind of get any of y'all more hyped, or is it just your mind was already set? This does absolutely nothing new for you, and you're just ready for May 5th to come.
I feel like for me, like I am interested in this film, but the one thing I am looking forward to is the dynamic between Gamora and the team, because this is like pre Guardians Gamora, and sort of like
This
so
Gamora's
it's
a
kind of
dick.
interesting. Yeah, so like how can she incorporate herself back, quote unquote, on the team as being a dick and everything, and so it's gonna be interesting. So that's
It's
the
gonna be
one thing I'm
Ravager.
kind of looking forward to.
Okay, and
Ravager
question
Gamora.
for basically all of you guys. So they keep alluding to potentially different characters dying and this and that. Who is y'all's money's on?
I don't want to play this game.
No, just
I don't
Rocket.
like this game.
if
No,
you get
Rocket won't die. They can't. Better not. I feel like it would be too obvious if Rocket died because they're spelling it out in this trailer, and usually that's a misdirect. It'll be Drax.
Yeah.
Drax is gone.
But then
You
they
think
also
so?
kind of
'Cause, like-
allude at Drax
Is
a lot
Drax
too.
gone? Oh,
And I mean, you straight
I
up
think
got
Drax is gone. I think Star Lord could be gone too.
Star. I'm gonna go with Star Lord.
Oh,
honestly my
Hard to
bet.
say.
Or JT,
really
who
don't
do you
know.
think? Who's your money on?
I got three people. I got Drax, Star Lord, and Rocket. I think one of those three is going to die
Yeah.
in this film.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were saying all three. I was about to be like, man, that'd be pretty ballsy.
All
of
three
them.
gonna gone. Done.
Yeah, all three's going to die,
Damn.
baby.
There really aren't going to be no
Rocket's
Guardians left.
If you think about Wakanda Forever,
Me
it's
personally,
not in
They
there.
never-
It's in there.
I'm gonna
I think
go.
Nebula could go.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and potentially say maybe none of these two. Honestly, because I know the storyline that they're kind of basing stuff on, especially with the Rocket thing. It's one of the more recent ones that came out. I want to say like 2017-ish. But I feel like it's everyone's expecting them to die, and part of me is thinking, well, maybe they just all retire. I acknowledge like they get Gamora back, and she's part of the family, and now they're all like, okay, we've done our due diligence. We don't want to lose our family, and we're gonna go ahead and just pass on, like be almost like pass down the mantle. Maybe they find like Adam Warlock, and maybe, God willingly, goddamn Richard Rider Nova, and and a new Guardians of the Galaxy is formed with these guys kind of been like, okay, we're not necessarily out of the game completely, but we're not going to be saving the galaxy anymore. Like we're tired. We're done. We'll tell you what we know, but we want to keep what we have, and we've done our part. That would be my best wish, because honestly, I don't want to say goodbye to any of these characters. So I'm hoping that this is at least the way they go down, because that would be like the best outcome for someone like me
Case scenario.
who not only do I hold the comics versions near and dear to me, but the versions that they gave us in the films have definitely had a very soft spot for me. They've done more than what I would have wanted, even with all the changes they've made to them. So I don't think I'm ready to say goodbye, but I mean, it's by the time this movie comes out, it will be almost a decade since the first one came out, and we've gotten a full arc for these characters. But let's go ahead and move on real quick, because we are about to reach the 1 hour mark, and we haven't even made it to our main topic.
Goodness.
Extra long episode today.
So The Last of Us on HBO has basically reached its official halfway point, and man, has a lot of stuff kind of happened. They are moving it a little bit faster towards this second half of the thing. I kind of was hoping that they would take their time with it, but I could already tell where they're going to make some of the omissions that from the game. Like they're most likely going to take a whole section off, which would make more sense if you're trying to get to the end game for this season. But so far, has The Last of Us still managed to keep up with y'all's expectations? We'll go ahead and start with you, JT. Again, we're going to try to keep, for Mr. Johnny Joestar, this first impressions type of stuff as much spoiler-free as possible. And then we'll give you a heads up.
We'll get to you, Johnny Joestar. What's our JT?
But I just had a question, though, real quick. Though.
What's up?
Like, I mean, are they just already going to, like, part 2?
No. They're covering only the first game in this one. Part 2 is going to be season 2.
Well, then, like, I'm not really missing much, because, like, I mean, the people who already died, and if they're following the game, like, pretty well, where it's just, like, a few things switched around, like, it should be okay.
Yeah, but you said you've forgotten about it before, so I didn't know if some of this stuff was going to be new to you or not.
No, I mean, like, I played the whole game, like, it was nice. I just haven't played part 2, but I do know people had already spoiled it before I even tried to play it, which freaking sucked, because, like, I was really looking forward to playing it all the way through, and then people were so psyched about it, and I was like, oh, I want to see what happens, but then people just, they just straight up just said, well, this person dies.
This happened.
It was JT.
Yeah.
He was online.
Yeah,
but
and I'm just like, fuck, dude. I was like, well, I guess I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
But out of respect, out of everything, like, you guys go ahead and talk it out. Don't worry about me. I'm actually gonna just dip out. But once again, I'm actually watching it right now. I've just been busy all weekend.
Oh man,
I know. That's why I've been so quiet. That's why I've been so quiet. I'm still trying to get over the fact that, like, Ron Swanson is making out with a guy. So, like,
you're like, that behind.
Yeah, yeah. So,
This is episode 3.
All right. So what are you doing here? Go ahead and skedaddle, man. Go. That show requires your full attention.
Come back for your opinion.
Yeah, but thanks for stopping by, man.
Well, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for having me on tonight, and you guys are the greatest. I'll have a good night.
Night, man. All right. So, JT, initial impressions of the first half of this season. Do you think they're doing a fantastic job? You think it's going well? Do you think it's starting to slack down a little? What are your overall thoughts?
The show is amazing. The dynamic between Daddy, Pedro Pascal, and Bella Ramsey as Joel and Ellie has been remarkable to watch on screen. They're doing a hell of a job adapting this game to make it more real. The realism, the whole set is incredible, and the action sequences, and the concept of morality, and this whole world is fucking believable. And like, I am enjoying it. Like, even though I played the game, it's so fun to watch, and I have to give props. I can't wait for the rest of the season. I can't wait for season 2. I can't wait for more Pedro Pascal just like doing
Daddy.
stuff. I can't wait for Bella Ramsey just
Daddy
killing
Pascal.
people. I mean,
Yep.
it's unbelievable. I am so impressed. I have no words. After this season's done, I'm gonna watch it back over again. I might actually replay the game because it was so fun to watch and play the game. So yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
All right, glad to hear. And how are you feeling, Miss Cap? Do you share the same sentiment as JT? Does this get you riled up? Maybe interest in the maybe picking up the controller and playing yourself, or do you think this is just good enough for you? Like, how are you feeling?
Oh no. This is good enough for me. I terrible at playing games like that. It's bad. I'm a button smasher, so anything where I have no consequence if I die is a good game for me.
Hey, to be
But I
fair
would
though,
certainly-
to be fair
But
though,
cer-
Mr. Oyman is playing this on the OG version on the PS3 with the busted controller that has stick drift, so his character apparently is always moving to the
Still
left.
making it through.
And he's trying. He's making it work. He's trying to make it work. And he himself is not a gamer. But this show's definitely got his interest in trying to see the source material. But I'll let you go. Continue your thoughts on it.
I'd rather just watch JT play it again. That's what I did the first time. Every time he play a game, I'll just sit and watch him and help. I help him out when he's trying to figure out a big puzzle. I was like, oh, have you tried this area? I'm a good supporter, but not a big gamer. No, this show is it's so good. It's bringing back things that I remember, but also don't remember. Watching to get a gameplay of it, and I love it. It's so good. It's an interesting story time. You get to know the characters more. They feel more fleshed out, especially characters that were just side characters that just helped you along the way. Help the characters along the way. When we get into it, Henry and Sam, and then giving the what's it the big people, the whatchamacallit,
The boomers.
the
bloaters.
the no, gosh, the two new characters. They,
The resistance.
No.
There we go.
The
Resistance.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
in the game they weren't actually a part. They were a part of the game, but there were obstacles to get through. So giving them a character arc or something to you're oh, okay, that. No, they're not people we need to get through to get to the next part. It's these are actual people who's lived 20 years in this type of reign, and that's why they're the way that they are. So I'm really enjoying this show, and I really cannot wait for the next episode and the next stuff that's going to happen into the end, because I actually remember the ending of the game, so I'm going to go in not knowing what's going to happen because I don't remember how the game ends, so I'm ready for it.
Yeah, and what's it called? I can't agree with you more. In terms of like you mentioned that they are making some noticeable changes here and there. Like the hunters are no longer the hunters; they're the resistance.
Yeah.
It's taking place in Kansas,
Yeah.
but all of those changes seem to be adding something different, giving you not only something that you could claim that it's changing it and it's different because it's not the characters from the game, but at the same time they have enough of a parallel to where you could apply it to those characters from the games. And it adds so much of another layer to some of these side characters that in the game, like you said, either they're an obstacle or they're just a small part of the game. And they're I love the spin that they're giving them because it's giving us a new take on them. It's giving us a little bit more flesh to them, to where they even have impacts on our protagonists, in ways like, in this show, you're already, even since Bill, you're already seeing Joel go from being detached from humanity to learning how to be a human again, basically, to show emotions, to show care for another being, which he didn't show for almost 20 years. And you're getting these side characters as a way to do it, and they're definitely showing the impact that these characters are having on him a lot earlier than in the game, where it doesn't occur till like the 3/4 of the way through, where he's finally ready to break down and admit that he cares, that he's becoming emotionally attached and has something worth fighting for. You're getting all that earlier in the show through these side characters, like with Bill, with Henry and Sam. He's definitely showing that he cared for these people, that he in a sense loved them in a certain way, which is something that the game didn't do. But obviously you're taking a game that's 15-16 hours long on a average playthrough and toning it down to about like 8 to 9 hours. I do appreciate those changes. And Mr. Oyman, would you agree with me personally? I have the feeling that it just keeps getting better and better each week. Outside of the first episode, I thought was like GOAT, and then the second episode I thought kind of not slumped down, because it was still a fantastic episode, but it definitely was not as strong as the first episode. But after episode 2, each episode seems to be getting better and better and better. Would you agree with me on that statement, or Mr. Orman, or do you have a difference in opinions with that?
I mean, honestly, I thought the first episode was a great start, and I really did like the second one a lot too. It's kind of, I'll have to go back, and I think right before the last episode comes out, I'm gonna do kind of like JT said. I'm gonna binge the whole thing, because watching it week to week, it's like it does kind of feel like. Yeah, well, not only that, but each week it's like, oh wow, yeah, this gets better and better. But honestly, it started off so strong. I think it's stayed consistently. I don't even think it's really dropped in quality. Obviously, each episode, I like how individual each episode feels. Like they each tell their own little story, which is really cool. It doesn't feel like you're really, they don't leave you feeling unsatisfied. Like, oh man, it needs more. Like I thought the last week, Friday's episode ended at a perfect spot. I thought the one before that did. I'm kind of having, I think probably for me, maybe if I had to say, maybe 4 was the weakest to me. And it's not even that it was weak at all. I think it's like one of those things where it just not a whole lot happened in comparison to I guess you could say the same thing for.
It was like world building.
It was more of a setup for. It was more a setup for the fifth season, or for fifth season, for the 5th episode.
I will say that the 5th one definitely caught me off guard with like the Melanie Linsky's character getting killed off after just being introduced. Like I didn't expect that, but I guess it kind of makes sense because she's not supposed. There's not like one antagonist. The whole world is the antagonist in this show, so it's kind of cool to see how different characters are dealing with the situation going on in different ways.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Especially with the whole world, because the whole deal of The Last of Us is actually. The thing I admired about it was it took inspiration of stuff like The Road or No Country for Old Men, stuff like that. I know were inspirations for Bruce Stradley and Neil Druckmann when writing this. But they it's not so much that it has a like really fleshed out story with antagonists and stuff like that. It's more of a very simple story that is very character driven. It's very point A to point B, but getting from point A to point B from the perspective of our protagonists and the world around them.
Leads.
It's what elevates a story like this, and why I think it's transferring or translating into this I would say cinematic feel, and it's transferring it very well. Because when, like, let's say take episode 4, I actually really like that one, even more than episode 3.
I did too.
Mainly because it gave me what I want. Like it was, again, this being such a like fan, it's my favorite game of all time, and I've played it like 10, 12 times. I could probably rehearse almost every single goddamn line from the game. And this does seem like sometimes they rush through certain lines to be like, oh look, this is from the game, and it's like a watered down version of it. But even then, it's fantastic. And that's what I liked about episode 4 the most, personally, that while not a lot
They
of it
focused on what was the strongest things about the game, right?
Yeah.
The relationship between Joel
Yeah,
and Ellie
exactly.
really came through in that 4th
Like,
episode.
Yeah, it did.
they not a lot happened. It was a lot of walking, a lot of this and that, and it was just mainly you got to get to know like a small bond of this, like just seeing Ellie bring out that pun book that she loves from the games, and Bella Ramsey just they just nailed the personalities between the two, the dynamics between both of them. I couldn't help but not necessarily smile because of the references or the straight like ripped straight from the game's lines, but because of the relationship that you've gotten. These two actors have, when they laugh and they smile, I couldn't help but smile myself. Like towards the end of episode 4 with that joke Ellie made, and you see Pedro Pascal laugh, and it just got me kind of chuckling, and it was great.
I didn't feel like I was watching two actors. I felt like I was watching those actual characters, like two real people going through this and being very human. That's what works so well in this whole show. And I think when I go back and rewatch the whole show, the 4th one, like, yeah, it is mostly set up for what's going to come next. But I think going back and rewatching it, you'll definitely notice those little moments and appreciate them a lot more.
All right, JT and Miss Cap. Like, I know you both obviously have played the game, and you've both done the Henry and Sam part. Did that guy get you guys, even though you knew it was coming? Like, how was that emotional impact for the end of episode 5? How did you guys feel?
I feel like, I feel like for me, like, I knew that was going to happen, but it was the way it was, because when Sam and Ellie was having a conversation about, are you scared? And then, when Sam got bit, and then Ellie, I feel sorry for her, especially because, like, as a kid, seeing a double suicide, I mean, that's got to be tough. I mean, that's tough for a kid to go through, especially in this post-apocalyptic world. And then, like, at the gravesite, Joe taught her well, hey, you have to move forward, and she did. I'm like, man, that was brutal. But I feel like in that scene, like the way it was shot, the way Ellie tried so hard trying to save Sam, and that, it broke my heart. I knew it was going to happen, but the way it was shot, the way it was scripted, and the way it played out, I kind of feel like the TV show was much more brutal than the game, in my opinion, because of the heavy weight it took to actually film that scene.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know. I know. I watched it with Mr. Oyman, and I was trying so hard. Because he hadn't gotten to that part of the game, and he didn't know what was to come.
Oh.
And
yeah,
I knew, no matter how prepared I was, I still that scene still hit me in the feels. Hell, even when we first get the interaction between Ellie and Sam, I was like, oh, this little kid, he's adorable. He was fantastic, and seeing him laugh with Ellie and all that, I was like, just looking straight, didn't even bother looking at Mr. Oyman or anything. I was just trying to be like, don't show any
Let the
emotion.
tears roll.
Yeah, don't do anything. Like, oh man, we ain't ready for this shit.
Yeah.
But how did it get you that whole fifth episode, Miss Cat?
Oh man, it hit me hard. Honestly. Like I wasn't expecting it because I don't remember this part of the game, but I was like, I was not expecting Henry to kill himself afterwards, but I understood why he did,
Yeah, it makes
and
sense.
that hurt more than
Yeah.
actually seeing it. You know,
Happened after he
just
shot his
like
brother. I was like, yep.
he did all this stuff. He betrayed people so that his brother can live. He did all of this so
Mm.
that his brother could have a chance of living and surviving in this world for him to watch his brother turn into you know into a monster and just like having to kill him because what else is he gonna do, right? And him just like I don't want to be in a world where my brother is not here, and that's what got me. It was just like, oh, that's it hurt, honestly.
Next up,
Like,
Marty.
What's up?
I was gonna say, how did you and Tessa feel about them changing Sam to being deaf? Did you think it still worked?
Yeah, surprisingly,
I thought it worked.
I get why they changed it because they obviously picked the right actor to do that. At first, I thought it was a little bit strange. I'm like, what's the point of doing this? But then I found out that the little kid was actually deaf himself. At least I believe he was.
And
So it made
And it
sense.
made that
He
moment
is.
where Ellie leaves the note saying "I'm sorry." Like she was already using that to communicate with him, so
Yeah.
it kind of made that feel a little more
Yeah,
personal of a
because
goodbye.
overall it pretty much followed in a similar footsteps. The only thing they really changed is because I was wondering, I'm like, if he's deaf and he's this young, how the hell are they gonna tackle that one scene that JT mentioned earlier, where they do have that conversation of, like, I'm scared. What if I'm still inside of that body when I turn? And what are you like afraid of? Because that right there is straight out of the game, and it's not just because it's straight out of the game. It's a very crucial part in the game. It's a simple line of dialogue, but not only does it kind of play a factor into what was coming up, but also plays a pretty important role in the second game, which is going to be the second season. So it definitely helps do a lot of the reasons why Ellie does the things she does in that, and what her motivations are. Kind of boils down back to this type of conversations that she's having with these side characters. So I was wondering how they were going to do that line, because they definitely had to, and they did. If the kid was deaf, unless that Ellie learned sign language, but obviously they worked their way around it, and like you said, Mr. Hoyman, it did have a very good payoff when she leaves that on his grave, and it's one of those changes that again, it brings a different layer to something that was already pretty well fleshed out. But I got a question for you, Mr. Hoyman. So this episode definitely got a lot more action than any of the previous ones, with all the cool clickers, the bloater, everything like that. Which the bloater was prosthetic. I mean, he had
that's what
CG.
a lot of the game is.
Yeah.
Is finding those things.
But do you think that they obviously struck a pretty good balance with having character development, emotional beats? Do you hope to see a little bit more, like, do you want there to be more action like there was in this one, while still obviously retaining the rest of the feel of it, or do you think they should stick to the format of the previous episodes? What are your feels on that aspect?
Yeah, I guess since I haven't played all of the game yet, it's hard to say whether I personally like that the show is definitely leaning into being more of a drama than an action drama, which is what the game is. I mean, the game is a lot of action and fighting, killing things, all that. So it was cool to get to not only see that in this episode, see it really well done. Yeah, like you said, it was a very cinematic feeling. Um, so I was gonna say, this show in a way reminds me of the Lord of the Rings show in that there's like 2 episodes that have a lot of action in it, and the rest is character stuff. The only difference is that the character stuff in that show sucked, and you didn't care about anyone because the writing was very mid and the acting was all not impressive. So the fact that this show can have such amazing acting and writing, I could care less whether there was more action or not.
Well,
Just I guess as being someone who's played, like if I had played the whole game and I was, a huge fan of it, maybe I would want more action out of the show, but that's not what makes the show good.
well, do you think the action amplified the infected? Because I know that the people
Oh, definitely.
obviously you're gonna
Oh, yeah.
have, but like in this episode, we've seen the infected before, basically in episode 2. But is it just like, do you feel like this definitely made them feel scary, or do you think that job was done really well done in episode 2? Like, which one handled the why we should be afraid of the infected more? Which one handled it better, 2 or this one?
I mean, 2, they were pretty like terrifying to begin with. I would say it was cool getting to see. I guess so. Are the ones that sneak around a little bit different than the ones that run around that charge at you? There's like clickers, and then there's just infected, right?
Yeah, there's stalkers, and then there's clickers,
Stalkers,
and the bloaters. Yeah, stalkers are early
Those are the
on.
big ones.
Bloater's the giant one. Yeah.
I don't know if I've even fought the bloater yet in the game. Maybe I have,
Uh,
or I've
you
definitely
should've.
seen it in
You sh-
gameplay.
You should have fought it in Billstown, which you need to you do
Okay.
before Pittsburgh.
Went back and played the end of Billstown, so that means So that's what I thought. It's just been a while since I fought one of those, but that was cool seeing that show up in the show. Is they were pretty. It kind of reminded me of World War Z, only not terrible. Like actually, what if World War
I
Z was
agree
good,
there.
that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah, that movie. It that's
That movie's rough.
that's what I'm saying.
rough.
That movie.
Yeah.
That movie did not make the zombies feel really that scary. They were just all over the place. This one, like you said, felt similar, but somehow was terrifying.
Yes.
A lot of zombie movies, shows, whatever. Like, I mean, I haven't watched Walking Dead, but this, I would say, the zombies are definitely one of the better renditions and portrayals of zombified creatures. And with the science fiction twist that they're like, a fungus growing in you or a virus makes it feel more real and more scary.
Yeah, definitely. So it was a pretty good. I'd say overall, I think we could all agree that this is probably holding up pretty well. In my opinion, it's getting better and better each episode. And it sounds like you guys have had
The best episode.
very
Oh,
very
yeah.
have praised it very very high. So I definitely could say with confidence that you guys are gonna definitely see this all the way through. It hasn't lost
Hell
anyone's
yeah.
attention.
Yes. But
Hell
also
yeah.
another thing is that is nothing is but this show is like it's so big that people are actually buying Last of Us and Last of Us Part 1 for like the PS4 and PS5 so people can actually play the game. It has such a big like fan base and also like people in general audience that people are actually like, okay, this seems like a good show. I really want to play the game now. I really want to feel it in my hand. I really want to experience all these things and more like
Yep.
on my game console. So I think props to them and
Not only
making The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2 really relevant now in gaming.
not only that, but it definitely each episode keeps bringing more and more viewers up. Each week we
Yes.
see like a
Yep.
12% increase, 18% increase from last week, and those numbers are already pretty darn high for viewership. So seeing something go up every single week, and like you said, JT, it brought the game sales up.
Yeah.
What's it called? I think in MPDs for this past month, Last of Us went from like number 34 and it jumped up to like number, I think it's like, I want to say like 8 or 9, and it had like a
Wow.
500% increase in sales. You were gonna say something, Mr. Oyman?
was going to say that that's not even including the people watching it on HBO proper, because like the HBO Max views are going up, but then there's a lot of older, or not necessarily older, but just people who watch normal HBO on cable
Mm-hmm.
that are also watching this show.
True.
And yeah, who knows? Maybe it's making them want to go out and buy the game as well. I mean, that's kind of crazy to see how when you have a good show based on a video game, it will obviously help the video game sales. Whereas when you have Hitman 47, Agent 47, or whatever, fucking Max Payne, it's not going to really help the game sales all that much. There might be a small bump.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing
Well,
huge.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the future of this series, especially next week, because next week is what's most likely going to have probably my favorite scene in the whole game being brought to life. So I hope
Okay.
that they are able to capture the feel of that, because in my opinion, that's the one scene that I'm probably going to be super critical of, because to this day get chills from that scene in the game. So I hope that they bring the emotion and the just capture it so well that it gives me a same feel as the game does. But I will say I have seen on social media people are like new to this, never played the game, don't know anything about it. They're thinking that at some point this is gonna get better in terms of like it's gonna get more upbeat for our characters. I'm just gonna tell you, don't get your hopes up.
No.
Like,
No.
like
No.
this game, if anything, this story just gets worse and worse and worse for these people living in this world. And don't even get me started on part 2. Like, if you think this one is bleak, that one gets even more bleak and and more violent. And it's just the beginning when Sarah's still alive and all that. That's as happiest as you're gonna see this series get. Anything after that, it just goes. It just goes downhill. Yeah, it's just you're never gonna see something. You might see a cute moment like shared between characters, like when that it runs in your jeans joke pun that Ellie gave her, but that's as good as it gets. You learn to cherish those moments, and it's just after that it's just a downer. Be ready for more emotionally heavy scenes, especially with what I've seen from the titles of some of these episodes. I know pretty much what's going to be covered and how they're probably going to tackle it. So there's going to be most likely a very big cliffhanger at the end of this upcoming episode, and then it's going to go to a flashback in the episode after. So be prepared for that. It's definitely going to be like the cooler talk around the offices and workplaces like that these upcoming next weeks leading up to the finale. You're definitely going to see a lot of people being like, hey, you watched the latest episode of The Last of Us? Oh, man, it was this and that. And I'm so glad. I see that all around my job, and it's definitely something I truly appreciate, and I'd love to just give my love and tip my hat to HBO and PlayStation Productions for doing this, because I do want more people to be able to experience something that means that's so close to me. And Amazon, eyes are on you, man. If you fuck up God of War, Jesus, that one's a harder property to tackle.
Same writers as Rings of Power,
but jeez, if they fuck that one up, I am just gonna be so angry. I'll go storm Amazon and punch Jeff Bezos in the face. But anyone else want to have some final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
I better get to continuing the game. Got it loading right now. So
oh yeah. So I guess everything that has been said today is what y'all want to say, Miss Cat. All right, JT,
Yes,
any final thoughts?
No.
All right.
No, actually, no. I'm not. The final thoughts would be just like what Texas already said. Enjoy while it lasts, because it's bleak.
Doesn't say
The
that
end.
way.
All right, we couldn't have said it better.
And then it gets
It gets bleaker. It reaches new levels of black in the spectrum of how dark it gets. But with that being said, I'd like to thank y'all, the fantastic panel. Of course, Mr. Johnny Joe Star, who had to leave early and because he had to catch a show, and I don't blame him, honestly, man. If I was 3 episodes behind, I'd be like, all right, we're skipping a week. I need to catch up on this.
See ya.
But I'm glad you guys were able to make it in and have this chat with me. Honestly, the main topic didn't even end up being what was on the board. I thought it was going to be the show's impressions, but it ended up being the Super Bowl. And the Housefly That Won't Die took up like a good chunk of that damn time frame. So hats off to you, Fast X, for even though none of us are excited, yet somehow we talked the most about it. You. So congratulations. Congratulations to you, Fast X. Yeah.
It's going to be fun to hear people talk about.
But I also, of course, would like to thank the audience for coming in and rocking with us. If you haven't already, it would mean the world to us if you could hit that like and subscribe button. And of course, like I mentioned earlier this episode, next week we'll be switching back over to a special presentation episode of Marvel Mondays where we will cover the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Mania. So I will say we will keep it probably as spoiler-free as we can for the first part of it. But after like 10 after giving our brief first impressions, after that, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend you bounce because we are going to get deep down into that movie and ask the question, is Marvel back? So with that being said, everyone have a fantastic week, and I will see y'all next.
You know how much I sacrificed?